Hello, my name is Kate Sutton, and I'm a child and teen bereavement counselor at Transitions Grief Care. This video covers how to prepare children for funerals and other rituals. Rituals that help us say goodbye are important for adults and kids. Children, even very young children, should be given the opportunity to say goodbye to their loved ones who have died. The saying goes, if children are young enough to love, they are young enough to grieve. If your family is having a funeral or memorial service, give children the choice to attend or participate. The death of a loved one can create a loss of calm and control for children. Often, their parents and caregivers are busy with final arrangements, and life routines can get mixed up. By involving kids in the choice to attend or participate in these events, children can regain some control during a chaotic time. It can also give them a way to say goodbye to the person who died, which can be beneficial in their grief process down the road. Whether or not your child or teen decides to attend, they can be involved in various ways, such as draw a picture or write a letter to put on the grave or in the casket, buy or pick some flowers to display, pre-record audio or video to share at the service, share a story or poem about the person who died, or pick music to play or create a slideshow of photos for the service. When preparing kids for a funeral or memorial service, talk through what that experience might be like before it actually happens. Explain what things are. For instance, a casket is the box that a body is in before it gets buried. A eulogy is the thing that people say. Headstone, the thing that marks where the grave is and sometimes has nice verses or words on it. And an urn, the thing that holds cremains after a person's body has been cremated. If your child or teen is going to a viewing or a wake, prepare them for what it's going to be like. Use sensory details. Hear, see, touch, taste, and smell. If there's an open casket, mention that they may see the body and that it probably won't look like what the person looked like before they died. Let them know if they have permission to touch the body and that it might feel cool to the touch and probably stiff. They may hear people crying or laughing or telling stories about the person. Let them know that adults and kids have big feelings at a funeral, and it's okay to cry or feel angry or any other kinds of feelings. Create a strategy with your child or teen about how to deal with their feelings when they arise. Make a plan for taking breaks for you and your kids. Have an activity bag packed that can help provide some distraction or playtime for a child if things get too overwhelming. Find a safe place for you or your children to go if you need to be alone. Perhaps there's a family member or friend who could leave the service with your child if needed. If your loved one has been cremated, help your child or teen understand what that means. Let them know that people make different choices of how to deal with a body after it has died, and cremation is one way. Avoid using the words fire or burn, which have a frightening connotation. Instead, in a straightforward voice, tell your child that the deceased body in a casket or container is taken to a place called a crematory, where it is exposed to very high heat. The heat turns the body and container into very fine particles like gray or white sand. Be sure to point out that the dead body feels no pain. Let your child know that these cremated remains, called cremains, are placed in a container called an urn and returned to the family. If cremation has taken place and you have the urn, you may want to show it to the child. Children can be curious about the contents. Look at it yourself before showing it to your kids so you can describe it. Tell your child about what it looks like so they can decide if they want to see the cremains. Let them know what your family plans to do with them. Some people keep the cremains in an urn at home in a special place. Others put them in a certain location, such as a cemetery or a columbarium, which is a recessed compartment in a wall, sometimes located in churches or cemeteries. Or sometimes the cremains get spread in a natural area or special place. You may find that your child appreciates the opportunity to help you with certain final arrangements. Children often enjoy having jobs that help them feel like part of the process. They may even want to be part of the special events to remember the deceased. If they choose not to be involved, that's okay too. Everyone in the family will have a different reaction to the loss. Final arrangements after a death are a personal choice for kids and adults. The key word there is choice. We hope that this video has been helpful for preparing you to share some of this with your kids. For more information and definitions for words about end of life, please see the links below.